On this episode of Bronze Metalist, we talk about Longhena? Longhena? Is that something that you know for a fact, or are you just trying to get me to stop?
I took a guess.
Anyway, it's an album by Gridlink. It's really cool. So, time for the music. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Bronze Medalist Podcast. My name is Kale, and I am an old man.
And my name is Sharon, and I'm a young man, but I have the body of an old man.
You're a young man trapped in an old man's body.
Yes.
Okay. So I announced before we started recording that I have breaking news because I opened up my Instagram account and saw like the most exciting thing ever, at least for me. Killswitch Engage's Instagram, just Adam D just posted on there, their guitarist. It's a picture with Jesse, their current vocalist and also technically former vocalist, but that's maybe if we do a Killswitch Engage episode, I'll explain how that works. But with their other former vocalist who Jesse replaced, Howard, both of them are standing there in Adam's studio and said the duet has been recorded. So this is exciting because I really like Jesse and I really like Howard, and it's high time that they actually like did a featured song together, because like the first album that Howard was on, Jesse appears on a couple of songs, but they didn't like that, they didn't promote that or anything.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a straight up duet. It was just Jesse doing like some featured vocals. So that's really exciting. A lot of people still really, really like Howard because a lot of people got into Killswitch when Howard was the vocalist, because Jesse was... Okay, I'll explain it now. This is going to be about Killswitch Engage for a little bit, and then we'll talk about something else, and then we'll get to the album. So Killswitch Engage is a metalcore band from Massachusetts. Started in like 98 or something like that, and their first album came out in 99, and then their first like really big album was their second one that was called Alive or Just Breathing. Jesse Leach was the vocalist for both of those albums, and then Jesse kind of unceremoniously quit the band like through an email, and they were about to go on tour. He was having a lot of emotional problems, wasn't in the best place in his life at that time. He eventually made up with a band, but they of course went with a different vocalist, who was Howard Jones?
Howard Stern.
Howard Stern, yeah. Howard was their new vocalist. He stuck with them for 3 albums until Howard ran into a whole bunch of health problems. Yeah. Howard is diabetic, and at one point, like the stress of touring put him in a diabetic coma for like 2 weeks, or even longer than that, and he took like an entire year off of touring. So eventually, Howard was like, guys, I just can't come back to the band. And they held auditions, and Adam and Jesse had been doing a side project together. Jesse was like, hey, I'll audition. I'm not going to ask for my spot back or anything. But He auditioned for them. He obviously knew their oldest material, and he had a really good grasp on their other material. So they're like, all right, awesome. Jesse's back. So Jesse's been there for the last 2 albums now and does a really, really good job. I like both of them equally. Howard is a slightly better melodic singer, I think. They have very different styles. That was just me fangirling for a moment. Because like Killswitch Engage was the first like really heavy band that I got into. They were the first metalcore band, besides I guess early Avenged Sevenfold, but they went away from metalcore pretty quickly and just went to like thrash, general death metal, and like blues rock type stuff after that. Although their most recent album was interestingly like more of a prog metal album, and I really, really like their most recent album. Don't care for the one that preceded that at all. But anyway, now that I've got that off of my chest, what's up? How you doing?
I'm good. It just hit me that we have like 4 weeks of school left.
God.
Like I think with finals week it's 30 days, and so that's like mind-blowing to think of, because I have final projects that
I'm graduating.
Yeah, like that's half of my friends are graduating. Yeah. And I think that's one of the biggest downsides of being a junior in college or in high school or wherever, because like you mix with the upperclassmen and then they graduate, and then your senior year you're just like,
I'm still gonna be here.
That's true.
I'm gonna be around.
But you won't be in the broadcast department.
I won't. I'll be.
Or you could. You could just roam.
I could. Yeah, I'll just walk around and wear my Letterman jacket that I don't have.
Yep.
I'm gonna get an MSU Letterman jacket and just kind of walk around and be like, man, I ruled this place back when I was here. I peaked in college.
I feel like
I absolutely did not. If this is what peaking feels like, then good God, give me something else.
Yeah. That's what speaking of just like peaking in college, I know a lot of guys that I went to school with that peaked in high school. That's such a sad thing to think about. That like that is the highlight of your life.
Yeah. I don't think I would describe any of my at the very least the people in my class. I don't think I would describe any of them as having peaked in high school. A lot of them went on to pursue far more financially successful careers than what I've chosen. A lot of them went to school for like engineering and like power plant tech and that sort of thing, which is definitely in this part of the country going to get you a lot more cash than broadcasting. But this is what I love, and I ain't gonna change that. But no, I wouldn't describe any of them as having peaked in high school. But no, graduating. Yeah, I assume you're going home for the summer.
I am, and that's really comforting because I've been really homesick, but also I'm freaking out because with that 30 days and with me going home, I'm recording so my senior project is going to be a short film. Mm-hmm. So I'm recording that and taping it this summer.
Yeah.
Which means I have to get ready. Like I don't have like the two lead actors I haven't cast yet. I have a vague idea in my mind who they're going to be, but I haven't like formally asked them and they haven't accepted.
Well, I know you put me in a group chat about that and I was like, what is this?
Yeah. What? Yeah, so, I didn't do a very good job of explaining it, but
yeah, at any rate, I'd be happy to help and I'll be around. But next semester, you'll get to whatever place I'm in. I'm hoping to get a 2-bedroom where I can have the extra bedroom instead of doing the polite thing and having it be a guest bedroom. I'm just going to the guest bed is going to be a futon, and then the rest of the room is going to be taken up for like studio space.
That'd be really cool.
I'm hoping to build like a recording studio in that extra room. So yeah, summer plans. I can't believe I'm graduating. Fortunately for me, this last semester has been super easy. I don't have very many classes, and like all of them are pretty relaxed. And I'm not worried about any of the tests or anything. And a lot of the hardest stuff is well behind me. I sort of crammed all of my generals in my first 2 years in college.
Yeah.
And the last 2 years have mostly just been broadcasting and some other comm arts classes, which I don't want to make it sound like that's all easy stuff, but it's not like super hard academic stuff. It's more hands-on, making videos, doing what we're doing right now, recording podcasts and that sort of thing. It's less about the academic side of like take all these tests. And,
like read out of a book for 5 hours a day.
Do all this math, except for comm law last semester.
Yeah, that was the worst class.
That was a bit of a nightmare, but hey, we all got through it together in our little study buddy group.
That's true. And I think to speak to what you were saying about the like not that broadcasting is easy, it's definitely I think just as difficult as other things, but it's a different type of difficult, and it's like I enjoy this. Like I love doing all that sort of stuff, but like math.
Oh God, I'm so bad at it.
Yeah, I'm so bad at it, and I have no interest in it, and so that I think that's what makes it so hard.
Yeah. Well, I had to be when I was in junior high, or not junior high, when I was a 5th and 6th grader, maybe just when I was a 6th grader, I had to be put in the I almost wanted to say Title IX. That's not what it is. It's a very different thing. Title VI or something like that. At any rate, it was like I almost said learning disabilities, but it's for kids who have trouble with particular subjects. Yeah. And it's almost like tutoring, but instead of doing it after class or anything like that, it's provided by the school, and you just go in and do a little bit of extra work on that at a certain point in your day. And so for me, that was, since I wasn't in band, that was when all the band kids were out. Since I was so bad at math, like I was really underperforming with it, I would go in and we would do math and whatnot. I don't really recall actually doing a whole lot of like math work in that.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, I always found it super confusing. Like like it was a different language, and I just didn't speak it. Not that I particularly cared to speak it all that much, but it was kind of funny because my dad is super duper good at math, or I don't know about super duper good at math, but he's he's a numbers guy. He's pretty good at it, and he's had to do that sort of stuff at his job. He works at a power plant, and they have to figure out emissions and all that stuff. Where some of that is more the engineer's problem, but like he still has to do that sort of stuff and do calculations and whatnot. Yeah. So he has a much better grasp on mathematics than I ever have. I've always been so bad at it. So
the lesson here is that math is bad.
Math is bad, and you should stay away from it.
Exactly.
Math, not even once.
Not even once.
Not even once. Speaking of math, some people that are probably good at it are the people in Gridlink, cause it's out. Yep. Yeah. I'm gonna take two. Totally not. Take three. So some people that are good at math are the people in Gridlink, because this album is like if mathcore was on crack. Yep. Boom. Got it in one. That's me. Good old one take Kale. That's what they call me.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Can confirm.
Okay, so we're talking about Gridlink, which is a grindcore band. They're a Japanese-American grindcore band. Some members of them, I assume, are from Japan. I don't know if they were Japanese-American.
Yeah.
Or if they were just Japanese and living in America. But they got started in like 2004 and broke up just after the release of this album in 2014, or are on hiatus. I've heard multiple accounts or read multiple accounts. Some say that they broke up. Some say that they're just on hiatus for the time being, but it's been 4 years, so really I think they're on permanent hiatus. But Gridlink is kind of an anomaly among a lot of grindcore bands in the sense that they have such a focus on technical precision, where a lot of grindcore bands, the lower fidelity the recording, the better. Mm-hmm. A lot of grindcore tends to be very lo-fi and very grimy and kind of gross sounding, and doesn't have near the technical precision and tightness and focus that Gridlink has, which is maybe why I like this album so much, and just Gridlink in general. This is definitely their highest production album, and when they went into it, they knew this was going to be their last hurrah. Yeah. So I think they put as much work into it as possible, and I think that really shows, because this is... I discovered this like last month, and I think this is my new favorite grindcore album.
Yeah.
Before that, it probably would have been Phantom Limb from Pig Destroyer, but now I think Longhena. So apparently Longhena is in reference to the last name of some Italian architect.
Okay.
Who I had never heard of before. I can still very faintly hear the frogs from outside.
Even through your headphones?
Even through my headphones, I can very faintly. I doubt anyone else will hear them in the recording. But do you want to close my door, Jaron?
Oh, it's not even all the way closed.
Yeah, it's not all the way closed. Sorry, folks. I might leave this in. I don't know. A little bit of natural sound. So, anyway, there's a ton of frogs in my living room. That's what I was talking about. There's approximately an entire swamp full of frogs out there.
Yes.
We recently moved to Louisiana. So, what was I talking about? Gridlink. They're a band. They're a grindcore band. This is my new favorite grindcore album. It's really good. Jaron, what do you think?
It's my new favorite too.
Your new favorite album, or because I was going to say even over Dream Theater.
No, this is in this section of the music. Same as yours.
This is the first grindcore.
Exactly. It didn't have much beat. No, but I really enjoyed this album. It was shorter than I thought it would be. It's about 20 minutes, and I was listening to it while I was running, and part of that sucked because it's so like...
And you started sprinting.
Exactly. It's so fast-paced, and like I just wanted to just like go all out, but I was like, I have 3 miles, so I can't sprint 3 miles. But I was listening to it, and I got to about the 2 mile mark, and it takes me... I shoot 4, and I can get it consistently 30 minutes for 3 miles.
Yeah.
So I'm like running, I hit the 2 mile mark, and like all of a sudden the song ends, and then it's silence.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, well, like look down and make sure that my phone like didn't like.
Where'd the music go?
Yeah, I was like, what the heck? And it was short, but it was like a really brisk, like fast, upbeat. There was only one part where it slowed down that I can remember.
Yeah, there is an intro to one song that has some violin in it, and then it kind of, boom, comes right at you with a technical sledgehammer to the face.
Yeah,
that is part of what I love about Grindcore is that it is so. All of their albums, Grindcore is my favorite band. No, part of what I love about Grindcore as a genre is a lot of Grindcore albums are very brisk and super intense. It's 20 minutes long, but just absolutely jam-packed with stuff for you to digest. And that's part of what I like about it, because sometimes I don't feel like sitting down for 45 minutes to listen to this new death metal album. And we've talked about this before, how sometimes a problem that you run into with certain death metal songs is there's not a lot of variety and it tends to drag on for too long. Like when songs pass the 5-minute mark, and I'm kind of with you here too, if songs pass the 5-minute mark but they don't do a lot of really interesting stuff, then I tend to lose focus and want to skip. Whereas, especially with bands like Gridlink, not only are the songs a minute and a half, generally, they're also jam-packed with really interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Like, this is like an adrenaline shot in musical form. It's crazy, and I love it. So, Gridlink is very different from a lot of grindcore bands, not only in their technical aspects, but also in their lyrical aspects. Although it's pretty hard to understand any of the vocals on this record. But Gridlink's lyrics tend to focus on, I guess, headier subjects than a lot of grindcore bands. Grindcore tends to share a lot of themes with death metal, as far as, for the most part, being about violence and destruction. Yeah. Not so much the horror and gore elements, although there is a subgenre of grindcore called gore grind.
Okay.
That is absolutely just about gore and blood and viscera and all the other terms. Awful. With an O, like the guts and whatnot.
Yeah.
Gore guts. Hey, that's a callback. What was I saying? They focus on headier themes, so they tend to lean towards sci-fi and more avant-garde lyrical themes. This one touched on like war and like modern warfare and that sort of thing. Not the concept, not the video game.
Yeah.
I'll need to do a more thorough sweep of the lyrics, but there is more depth here that you can look for if that's what you're after. And that's not something that can be said for a lot of grindcore. Pig Destroyer is really good about that as well. A lot of their songs tend to be a little bit more political, as the name would suggest, because Pig, in that sense, when they formed the band, referred to police officer rather than an actual pig. Yeah, Gridlink, really, really cool. And I'm really sad that I'm so sad about this band I learned about last month. But like, it's kind of depressing that they broke up. Like that's always a bummer when I really get into a band and I'm like, I can't wait for new. Oh, they broke up.
Yeah.
Okay. Now what do I do?
Yeah.
I have nothing to look forward to.
I have a nasty habit of doing that with TV shows. I'll find a TV show and I'll be like, oh, this is awesome. And then it'll have gone like 2 seasons and then it just like stop. Or like the Hellboy movies. Yeah. I love those movies. And we're never going to get a third one.
We're never going to get a third Del Toro.
Hellboy.
There's a new one coming out with...
what's his...
The tie-dad
Stranger
guy.
Things guy, yeah.
Tie-dad.
What's his name? It's
hell.
David...
I don't remember.
Anyway, yeah.
But yeah, he's going to be the new Hellboy, which I think is a pretty good choice.
Yeah.
I think Ron Perlman was perfect.
Yep.
But I think this guy is also... David Harbour.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay.
I think David Harbour is a good choice for Hellboy as well, for Big Red. I wish that Del Toro hadn't given up the rights to that, especially now with his massive success with Shape of Water. I wish that
which
is be like, okay, now time for Hellboy 3.
Yeah, and Shape of Water is basically a Abe Sapien
Yeah.
spinoff.
Shape of Water is just Abe Sapien falls in love.
His twin brother falls in love. Because they're played by the same guy. Doug Jones does both of them.
So I still haven't seen Shape of Water, so no spoilers. But
all right.
It absolutely seems like my type of movie. I love. It's not, I mean, these days it's not that weird of a premise for a film. Of like, oh, a monster falls in love with with a not monster. But like having her be she's deaf and mute, right?
She's just mute.
She's just mute. Okay. Yeah, having this mute lady and then this fish man and all this stuff. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm a sucker for weird premises like that. Like I watched. This is the movie part of the podcast, by the way. We're kind of done like a grindcore album. Our analysis.
Quick and then it's done.
Yes, our analysis was short and sweet and to the point. But yeah, movie time. I watched a movie last month called Spring, which is kind of a reversal of the whole Shape of Water thing, where the man is a monster, or like Shape of Water or Beauty and the Beast. Mm-hmm. I think there's another like Swamp Thing. I think even like that where it's the male is this horrible monster, and then the woman gets swept off her feet or whatever.
Yeah.
It was sort of a reversal of that, where the woman isn't always a terrifying monster, but she is like going through a period she's like this immortal being.
Yeah.
That every 20 years she needs to get pregnant and then use the stem cells from the developing fetus to like rejuvenate herself, and then she like half sort of because she uses that genetic material to like change her body. Okay. And in the week leading up to that, she mutates into a whole bunch of like really freaky shit.
Yeah.
And so she's been using she has like these injections that keep her normal looking, but this guy is on the run. He got into some trouble in the U.S. just after his mom died, and so he decided to take some of the money from his inheritance and go on a trip, and he goes to Italy, and he spends time in like the Italian countryside and ends up in this town where he meets her and pretty much immediately falls in love with her. So it's like this whirlwind romance, but the twist is that she's a monster. And it was really, really good and clever and kind of exactly my type of movie.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like weird movies like that. Another movie that I watched recently, I watched this last week. I watched a little movie called Black Dynamite. And boy, was it hilarious. So Black Dynamite might look like it was filmed in 1975, but it was actually filmed in 2009. And it's a parody of like 70s blaxploitation movies.
Okay.
Starring Michael Jai White, who is he played Spawn in the old Spawn movie from like 98 or whatever.
Yeah.
But he's like an actor and martial artist. And so Black Dynamite is the name of the character. And he is like this super duper badass, like ex-CIA agent / like pimp / like anti-drug crime fighter. And it is so clever because like I haven't watched a ton of blaxploitation movies.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've actually even seen one, but like it is something that through pop culture I'm passingly familiar with, enough to the point where I watch this movie and it's just that much more hilarious. So I would recommend watching that if I were you. I also, the other night, I watched What We Do in the Shadows, which I think we talked about last week.
I think we did
when
too.
we were talking about Taika Waititi. I watched that again a couple days ago with our upstairs neighbors, just because they really like Taika Waititi movies. Or no, I think I was talking about that with my sister. I think
you might have brought it up with me.
Maybe. Everything's just blending together. I gotta stop drinking. I just gotta
it's not alcoholism until you're out of college.
That's true. Actually, I don't know if that's true. Speaking of drinking, this is not bottom shelf. This is like middle shelf. It certainly didn't carry with it bottom shelf price. I'm drinking Paddy Irish whiskey, which is kind of like cheaper Jameson. Slightly cheaper Jameson anyway. It's pretty good stuff. Nice and smooth. Just the way I like it. I like smooth whiskeys, which is why I tend to gravitate towards Canadian rather than like bourbon. Bourbon's just... I'm not a fan of bourbon. Like when we had that Ancient Age stuff, I was a huge fan of that. I've been talking for a while. What's up with you? You watch any movies?
Ooh, no, but I watched, and it's a theory that I've already heard before, but I watched a Harry Potter like fan theory about the Dumbledore and Harry and Snape and Voldemort being the Deathly Hallows characters and whatever.
I mean, yeah.
Have you heard that one?
I haven't necessarily heard that, but that makes a lot of sense to me. That they're sort of like each of them embodies that, because Harry has the invisibility cloak.
Yep.
Dumbledore had the Elder Wand.
Well, the theory goes is that the eldest brother that wanted the Elder Wand because he wanted power to kill everybody else is Voldemort.
Okay.
The second brother, the middle brother that wanted the stone to bring back his dead love was Snape.
Okay.
And the youngest, who just wanted to avoid death and live basically a fairly peaceful life, was Harry.
Okay. Where does Dumbledore fit into it? Is he death?
He is death.
Okay.
Because it says in the story that the other two brothers feared death, right?
Yeah.
But the youngest brother, the one that had the invisibility cloak, at the end of his life greeted death as an old friend.
Okay.
And when Voldemort kills him, Dumbledore's there, and they greet each other like old friends.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. Unlike a lot of fan theories, that is not a huge stretch.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's very logical to me. That makes a ton of sense.
Yeah, but watching that theory, I was started looking at other Harry Potter stuff, and I really want to watch one of those. I don't know which one in particular.
Wait, have you not seen the Harry Potter movies?
I've seen all of them, but I just
I was like, what?
I really want to watch one of those. No,
you heard of these Harry Potter movies? I hear they're pretty good.
I've seen all of them a million times, but I'm just I really want to watch one, and I don't know which one. But I just really wanted to watch that. And then I saw something about Suicide Squad today, and that's not the greatest movie.
I watched something about Suicide Squad last night. It was interesting, but
yeah, I just it's a guilty pleasure movie, I guess, because it's a movie that I just turned my brain off, and I'm like, this is a fun, Margot Robbie's really pretty, and she does a really good job as Harley Quinn, and Will Smith is Will Smith and whatever, and Jai Courtney just kills it as Boomerang.
And that is the one thing when I saw the trailer that I was like, this looks interesting. Jai Courtney actually looks like he has charisma in this movie.
Yeah.
Because pretty much everything else that I've ever seen Jai Courtney in, he is the biggest charisma suck ever.
Yeah.
He's just a freaking wet blanket.
Yeah, he's really good in this movie. But so I was like, I really want to watch that. And then I had clicked on the Suicide Squad thing, and then a Man of Steel thing came up, and I was like, man, I should really watch that. And so I'm just on and so now I have all these movies on my list that
you went down a Warner Brothers hole.
Yeah, that's true.
Because they're all
Warner Brothers.
Harry Potter and DC movies are all Warner Brothers produced.
What else could I have watched? Warner Brothers.
I don't know.
Yeah, Looney Tunes.
There we go.
I really want to watch the Looney Tunes movie.
Watch the Looney Tunes movie. I want to watch Space Jam.
I haven't seen that in a long time.
Yeah, So last night I watched a thing where it was talking about all of the problematic editing in Suicide Squad. Mm-hmm. See, the thing for me is I don't have a lot of straight up guilty pleasure movies, because for me I like bad movies.
Yeah,
but they have to be really bad.
Yeah.
Whereas a movie like Suicide Squad, like a big budget flop, that is not usually that interesting to me, because the manner in which it is bad is usually boring.
Yeah.
A lot of big budget flops are usually boring, but Suicide Squad I might be able to ironically like, in the sense that after watching that editing video, there's a lot of things that would make me go, what?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Which is something that I find entertaining, but generally speaking, I don't have a lot of guilty pleasure movies. There might be some movies that would be embarrassing to other people that I like. I can't think of them right now, but I would probably be just be like, yeah, it's bad, but I like it.
Yeah, and that's what I am with Suicide Squad, and I liked it when it came out, and then because I went into it and the trailers had me so hyped that I just
everybody, the Queen trailer had everybody hyped. And
and then I watched it and I was like, this is the best movie ever. And then I watched it again and I was like, okay, I see a ton of flaws in this, but
bud.
I think I'm still riding that high of like the first time I just went in there and just like blazed
or
through it.
You're chasing it.
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah.
You might not be riding it, but you want it.
I want it to be really good. And I wanted Jared Leto's Joker to be really good too. And I think in some moments he is.
I think there's a lot of potential for it to be really good, but it might have been...
It was just...
squandered.
Yeah. And so I'd really like... I hope they don't just recast because like I don't think that's a way to fix.
Yeah, that would be weird.
So if you... I don't know. There's theories about him being Jason Todd.
Yeah, I've read that. I think that's a lot of people just trying to justify...
Yeah. But like...
A bad performance.
But like David Ayer, like do that. Like, you know...
Yeah,
and people say because like it's the Joker with Harley Quinn, then you can't do that. And I'm like, I would be fine if you bent the rules a little bit because like Heath Ledger's Joker stood on its own without a Harley Quinn, and that was fine. So like, why can't the like OG Joker not have a Harley Quinn? Or, you know, whatever.
Or yeah, I get what you're saying. We're at about time. Is there anything else that you want to talk about? We talked about movies. So, Longhena by Gridlink. Listen to it. It's good stuff. It won't take you very long.
No.
I guess if you're not the type of person that usually listens along with us, then maybe it's not for you. It's this is a very intense album. It is very intense, very heavy. I wouldn't necessarily call it brutal. It's almost strangely beautiful in a sense, which is something that you can very, very rarely say about Grindcore. Grindcore is, at its heart, a very ugly genre. It's one that I love and that I very, very much enjoy, but it is definitely an ugly, ugly genre, and it's meant to be that way. But this one, I think, has a sort of otherness to it that is very attractive, at least to me. And that's like, I think, perfectly represented by the album art, because you look at tons and tons. I had something else to talk about here. I forgot to talk about the album art. So you look at any other Grindcore album cover, and it's going to be like some black and white, really, really overdrawn, like spiky mess. Like something like Insect Warfare. It's going to be like some gory picture, or like some really, really bizarre looking, like deformed creature like you would see on like early Pig Destroyer album covers. Like Prowler in the Yard is the one that pops into mind from Pig Destroyer. This, on the other hand, is this beautiful woman wearing like a tight, futuristic looking latex suit. And it's just that with like a maroon background. And it says Gridlink, Longhena. And that's it. And it's like this very sort of futuristic look. And it's beautiful. It's not frightening to look at. The music might be frightening to some people, but the way I discovered Gridlink was I was in this huge Grindcore playlist with like 4,000 songs, and that was one of the first songs that played, and like I saw the album art, and I was like, wow, that's really different.
Yeah.
It stuck out to me, and I think ultimately that album art really represents how I feel about this album, as it is striking and different and beautiful in its own very strange way. That's all I have to say about that. All right. If you're listening to us, you're listening to us on a thing.
Yes.
Some other things that you could do to listen to us. You can go on Libsyn. You can go on iTunes. You can go on YouTube. You can check us out on any of those and give us a like, give us a rating. Helps out, probably. I don't know.
I don't know the algorithm
makes
anymore.
us feel good to see to see those ratings.
Yeah.
Give us a comment if you want us to talk about stuff. Like my brother-in-law, he requested that we do a genre breakdown like we did last episode. So if there's anything else like that, if you want us to check out an album, let us know.
Yeah.
Social media stuff. What do we got?
If you're looking to find us on social media, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. To be tweeted at would I think would be pretty cool. I don't know if anybody's tweeted at us.
I don't know if anybody's. I think it's actually been a while since I've checked since I've actually checked the podcast Twitter page. But I should also check our podcast email page, which I haven't checked in a while. But at any rate, I know we've been retweeted by, I don't remember who that was that retweeted us.
Some cool band, yeah.
It was some band that I liked and I was excited about.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So yeah, if you want to leave us a message, I still don't quite understand Twitter all the way. I have one, and I tweet at celebrities sometimes, but I think it'd be cool to be tweeted at.
I'm just gonna start tweeting at Ted Cruz constantly. I'll start tweeting at Ted Cruz. Does Mark Zuckerberg have a Twitter, you think? That would be that'd be kind of awkward, wouldn't it?
It would be.
If he had a Twitter. I don't know if he does, but at any rate, I'm gonna start tweeting. I say this, I'm not gonna do it. But just like start tweeting at like Ted Cruz constantly. Ask him what it was like to be the Zodiac killer. All right, we're at time. Yeah. How do we end this thing?
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Yeah. Oh, our names. I forgot what they were. My name's Kale.
My name's Jaron.
We have nothing left to say.